What's up, super people? My name is Aaron Oster. I am a #1 best-selling author on Amazon. And today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am going to be reacting to my appearance on another YouTube channel, The Stephan Show. If you know who Stephan is, that's great. If you don't know, he is a finance YouTuber, and I really got into personal finance after the whole world went to hell, and he taught me a lot about saving money and not just blowing it on pointless things. So with that said, if you could destroy that like button and subscribe, pretty please. I know it's unrealistic, but I would really like to get to 1,000 subscribers before the year is over. As of the time of this recording, I'm up to 570, and this month, in the month of November, or the last 28 days, I have gotten a grand total of 9 subscribers. So if you could please subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And with that said, we're going to get right into the video. So we're going to flip around over here. I'm going to pull up the screen over here. I'm not going to be able to edit out some of the stuff because no time. I'm getting started on a new series now. A whole bunch of exciting stuff, but we'll talk about that in a different video. So here we go. We're going to get right into it. And we flipped around. You'll be able to see me back there. See if I can get this at a better angle. No, I can't. But I guess here we go.
Welcome back to the Stephan Show. My name is Graham, and welcome to my show. And today we're going to be speaking with Aaron, who is a self-published author on Amazon, who's making as high as $50,000 a month. So we're going to be bringing him on. He's got a few questions, and he's going to be sharing a story about how he quit his job and now self-published his books on Amazon. So with that said, enjoy, make sure to destroy the like button, and let's begin. So welcome to the Stephan Show. What's going on?
Hey, everything's great over here.
Yeah, so as you can tell, I was very nervous when I got on here. I don't do well, like, talking to people, and I've been watching his videos for, like, a few months by this point, and I'm like, I really like his stuff. Like, I was, like, kind of trying not to fanboy. But, yeah, I can sound a little bit awkward, a little cringy. Don't mind that.
How are you doing?
Good, good. So what's going on?
My name is Aaron Oster. I am #1 best-selling author on Amazon. I self-published over 15 books as of this Thursday. And, yeah, I wanted to talk. I had some questions about investing, saving money, buying a house, general stuff like that.
Cool. Really quick, though, I think if you wouldn't mind telling us about your Amazon business, that's incredible. So how did you get started doing that?
Yeah. So basically, the story is that in 2018, I decided I was going to write a book. I'd always wanted to write one. I'd always kind of started, then stopped, and then started again. Finally, I just sat down. It took me about 4 months. I wrote the book. I put it out. It was absolutely horrible. I sold nothing. Literally, like 30 copies to friends and family. That's how bad it was. I gave up. Just forget it. Never going to make it as a writer. How do authors even make money? Then again,
Yeah, let me pause that there again. So, yeah, that actually happened to me. I wrote my first book, which I later republished in later 2019. When I first wrote, that book, originally titled Arbor, now titled Rampage, the book did so badly that I actually gave up on writing for a bit. Like, I legitimately thought I was never going to make it as an author. So, I mean, again, just goes to show that anyone can do it.
tried. I had this great idea in my head. I'm like, I got to write this down. So about 3 months later, in November, I started writing my next book, which would eventually go on to sort of launch my career. And when I actually put the book out, it was just a total shocker. Like, the way things work in Amazon is that it's very easy to get like a #1 bestseller tag, like that orange tag you'll see at the top of a product or something like that. And a lot of people will disparage self-published authors and say, no, you're not a real author. You're not a New York Times bestseller. Because to be a New York Times bestseller, you got to sell between 5,000 and 10,000 copies in the first week, and they have a whole bunch of other requirements. But even by those requirements, by the New York Times bestseller requirements, I am a New York Times bestseller. They just won't put me on the list because I'm self-published.
Yes, they won't put me on the list, and I'm still not sour about that at all. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, Starbreak, that's the book I'm talking about. Sold over 6,000 copies just in the opening weekend, like the first 4 days. It was incredible, and to this day, I have never sold that many. So for all my fans out there, when I launch my next big book, it's going to be either at the end of January or in February, please buy it. Okay.
So basically what ended up happening was by the end of March, I published this book in February. By the end of March, I had made more money in that month than I'd made the entire year at my old job. It was
How much? So
still kind of hard to believe.
I'm curious. Now I want to. How much was the book?
So the book, I sold mostly the ebook. So I put it up originally for $2.99 for the pre-order. I raised it to $3.99 for the launch. Now it's $4.99. I always raised my price a little bit more, but to get the ebook, it was only $3.99. Amazon lets you keep 70% of the royalties. My overhead cost on the book was $1,700 to get.
Yeah, let's make a quick correction on that. My overhead on the book was actually $1,600. But yeah, just goes to show that a small investment up front can really make like a big difference. But let's just keep going.
It's professionally edited and get a good cover. All the marketing I did by myself on social media.
Wow, that's incredible. And do you mind if I ask how much did it make that first week, or I guess within the month, right?
The month, yeah, the first month the book made $26,000.
Wow. And how do people find it? How do people come across that book?
The way that I really got it, first of all, Amazon's got an algorithm, so if you show them that you can sell copies, they'll start showing it to more people. The way I originally got it in front of an audience was that I went to a few fantasy Facebook groups, and by leaving links to their group in the back matter of your books, they'll let you promote your book for free on their group. And when you have that kind of a targeted audience, you get a lot more interest than you would just throwing a general ad out there. So I mean, all it cost me was a couple of links in the back of my book, and that's kind of what launched the entire thing.
And now you have 15 books. So I'm guessing that's got to be a pretty substantial residual income from that, right? Because now at this point, out of 15 books, people are just continually buying them every week. How many books a day do you usually sell?
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that you have to know about writing a book, is that all you got to do is write it once, and then you just keep making money off of it forever. I mean, so long as you can get people to actually buy it. It doesn't mean that you don't have to do any work. And for those looking to make money, solely to make money off of selling books, don't do it because you love it. And if you make money, that's just a plus.
It's like 6,500 books this month.
Wow. Congratulations. That's incredible. So now you're just doing this full time.
Yeah. I've been doing this full time since, when I saw at the end of March, back in 2019, that I've made more in a month than I made in an entire year. I'm like, well, it's kind of pointless to just sit here and keep working for this guy. The way it works with Amazon is they're on a 60-day delay. So I actually left my job, and I didn't get any of that money until 2 months later.
Yes,
but it was definitely worth it. I mean, the second book I sold over 6,000 copies in the opening weekend. I mean, it was absolutely insane.
Wow, that's amazing, man. And what do you write about? What are these books about?
So basically it's pretty much all fantasy. So I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's an emerging genre called lit RPG. It's literature based on games. It really started in around 2015 here in the U.S. And, it has the advantage of pulling in, all the fantasy nerds and all the gamer nerds at the same time. So, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of Ready Player One. Think kind of like that, but like medieval versions of it. I mean, not just that. There are so many different versions of this book right now. And there are a lot of authors, like, getting it, and they're trying to get it legitimized and actually recognized. But that's basically the genre.
Yes. For some reason, Amazon still doesn't have a category for game lit and lit RPG. They should really get on that, because it's a very popular genre. I don't know why they keep insisting that it's not a thing, but they should definitely get on that. But, all right.
For that, I write it.
Wow, very cool. So what are your questions then?
Oh, no, the ads are playing. I forgot about these. Okay. Okay, so you know, we're going to flip around. We can ignore the ads because I'm not monetized yet, and I'm not going to advertise for them because, yeah, hold on. And now the ad is over, and... Okay, hold on. We're going to flip back around now. We'll keep reacting. This is my first reaction video, so, yeah. Okay, we've turned around.
Around March, but I didn't actually open up a Roth IRA account until about a month ago. And, you know, right now it's tax day. The last thing you can contribute.
Oh, yeah. So at this point in the video, we're stopping to talk about author stuff and more about the bad decisions I made when I first started making money. I think I'm actually going to do a separate video about that for all you authors who do start making money and afraid you're going to make bad choices with it. I actually made a lot of bad choices when I first started making money doing this. So for all the author people, you can stop watching now. You know, if you're interested, you can keep watching.
And I've only got $3,000 in my Roth IRA. I haven't matched it out. So the question that I have is, should I move some money from my savings account and put it into the Roth IRA?
Yes. Why wouldn't you?
Yes. Saving for a house. But, I mean, I'm not buying a house now, so...
Move it to the Roth. The worst case scenario, you can always take the money out if you need to without a penalty. Always. Max out the Roth, and then if you need the money later, then you can take it out. If you really need to, you can take out that $3,000. But at least put it in there. So, yes, do it. 100%. Easy one.
Okay. Great. So, my next question. This is actually about buying a house. So, I recently moved from New York to Pennsylvania. Stuff is much cheaper here. I mean, I was paying $2,500 a month for an apartment in New York. Here I'm paying $825, and I have some of my utilities covered too. It's great. So right now I am saving to buy a house. Now my question is, should I wait until the end of the term of my lease? Because I have the option to extend it for month by month. Should I wait till the end of the term of my lease to start looking, or should I start looking now?
Start looking now. How much longer do you have on the lease?
I've got 11 months left on the lease.
What I would do is this. Start casually looking now. If you find the right deal, move on it. But if you don't find the right deal, then just keep looking.
Yeah, just to quickly interject over here again. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. I think this is what you're supposed to do in reaction videos, though. So you'll forgive me. I actually did. I'm in the process of closing on a house right now. So, very exciting. This is something I never thought I'd do, but I'm going to talk about that more when I actually have the house. I don't want to jinx it or anything.
It's going to take you a while probably to find something that is really going to work. So at least now start getting to know the market. I think that's really important. And if you end up finding a great deal, you could always work something out with your landlord to move out a little early. Chances are most landlords that I know of are cool with you moving out early, as long as you're going to open up the place to show it. And sometimes, usually what they'll do is they'll keep you on the hook for the lease until they find a replacement tenant. So if they find a replacement tenant after a month or two, they'll let you go after a month or two. If it's 5 months, it'll be 5 months. If it's sooner, it's sooner. So as long as there's not any lapse of rent, and as long as you will pay any out-of-pocket costs, let's say for like if they're paying a realtor commission or something to rent out the place that's at your expense, you know, that's understandable. But besides that, most landlords would be okay with letting you out of the lease as long as you are responsible up until the point where someone else takes over. Not all the time, but a lot of times they're okay with that.
Okay. No, see, because I made a bunch of big mistakes with my money last year, like the kind of mistakes that you'd really cringe. I mean, I'm cringing about them just thinking about them. But one of the big ones, up until last year, I was driving like the worst cars you can possibly imagine. Like you stop, the engine will shut itself off the middle of the road. That kind of bad.
Yeah, and just to clarify about the engine shutting off, this isn't one of those modern cars where the engine shuts itself off, to conserve gas. Like, this is one of those cars where the engines would shut themselves off, and then you'd sit there turning the key trying to restart the engine. So, yes, I was driving some clunkers. And you know what? By this point, I don't really regret getting that car, because I've had the option to sell it, and you know what? I'm not going to sell it. I really like the car. And in my worst purchases video, which I will be making, I'm not going to put in the car because I can write the car off against my taxes, and I've always wanted a nicer car. Yes, it was expensive, and at the time I made some bad choices, but at this point, my insurance isn't really that high since I've moved from New York to Pennsylvania, and, well, I'm over 25 now, so they're not charging me an arm and a leg.
Car. So when I started making money, I went and got myself, it's not a used car, not a new car. I got myself a used car because I'd never buy a new car. But I spent a ton of money on an Alfa Romeo Giulia 2017. It cost me $34,000 for the car. And I took it at a 17% interest rate because my credit history was not good enough. Now, the car's all paid off now, but for about 6 months, I was paying it was $700 a month for the car. I was paying more than half of that for the interest. It was absolutely horrible. Yeah.
Lesson learned. I mean, that sounds like a nightmare. Why would you buy an Alfa Romeo at that? I mean, I get that they're cool cars, but you could have easily just gone a Toyota Corolla.
Yes, I could have gotten a Toyota Corolla, but I sort of lost my concept of money for a bit. When you're making $600 or $700 a week your entire life, and then suddenly, you start pulling in $6,000 or $7,000. It's kind of like surreal. I mean, some months I pulled in my highest grossing month I pulled in over $42,000 just from Kindle, and from Audible too, which doesn't cost me any money at all. I got $7,000 that month. So
it's close to 50 grand, right?
Salary.
50 grand a month.
Close to 50 grand in 1 month.
Yeah.
And I was like, well.
Yeah, just to clarify, I did kind of lose my concept around, regarding money. At that point, it was I'd gone from, literally, I made in 2018, I grossed $28,000. So, I mean, I just completely lost my concept of money. I was blowing it left and right, just making a whole bunch of really, really bad decisions, involving money. And that month over there, that was still to date my highest grossing month. So, again, if you're worried that, I mean, again, the whole point of this isn't about the money. It's more about being able to write and actually being able to do this for a living. I mean, if I was making $50,000 a year, I'd still be able to live comfortably. I wouldn't be able to invest and save as much as I'd like, but, I mean, and let's just get back to it.
I have all this money, I may as well spend it. So
it's tough. That's why windfalls like that are so difficult to navigate. It's a lot easier if you go from $600 a week to $1,000 a week to $1,500 a week to $2,000 a week to $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000. Then it's easy. Then you kind of get situated with it. But going from $600 to $10,000, $20,000 or $30,000 dollars, it's a lot, man. I get it. So that's why it's so important. Usually what I recommend anybody, if they're ever in a situation like that, just save the money and don't do anything with it for 6 months. Nothing. Just savings account. So what if there's some opportunity cost in that? Just put it away in a savings account, figure out what to do with it later. But I think a lot of times mentally people need an adjustment to having that sort of income around. And then over time it starts to normalize a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Something I wish I'd have done, but I guess you live and you learn.
Exactly.
So, I mean, right now I'm pretty much just working 24/7. I mean, at my old job, I felt okay, I'm just an unmotivated slob. I don't like the work. But I'm working for myself now. I'm up at 5:30 every morning. I go to sleep pretty early too, like 10 o'clock every night. But from the second I wake up to the second I go to sleep, it's pretty much just all work.
Yep, I'm the same way. I do the same thing, similar hours. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate the call. And thanks so much for sharing your story with us.
Oh, sure. I mean, thank you so much for having me.
You got it. So happy to hear. Cool. I'll talk to you.
Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the video. Now, there were some parts of that got cut out. I did try to talk about my own channel, and Graham, if you're watching this, I'm sorry about that. I was kind of like not cool to try and get my own thing. And at that point, I thought I was going to be talking more about finance than actual, like, publishing and the sort of business involving being an author and stuff like that. So, I mean, it may have come off as, kind of douchey, but, I mean, I'm happy I went this direction. It's not a huge channel, but I enjoy myself. I would like more subscribers, though, so, if you could please subscribe, destroy that like button for me. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This wasn't really so much to just get something. I said this was just more entertainment, and I was looking for something to do. So if you did, please destroy that like button, subscribe. If you want some free stuff, just check down in the description. If you're looking for a good cover artist, down in the description, Mibble Art will be giving you 15% off for adding $15 of value to your cover if you get a cover through them and say I recommended you. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep being super, and I will see you all next time.